So you go into most gyms these days, maybe even your garage gym, and what do you see people doing? More than likely, they are scrolling on their phone between sets. This is wrong. So, how do we increase our focus in the gym? If you don't know, my name is Adrian, and I train in my garage, and I'm going to tell you. So, I like to think back to, if you haven't seen it, Pumping Iron. I think everybody that's interested in exercise should watch it. So, I don't think I watched it until I had been lifting for a while. And you watch that, it was in the 70s about Arnold Schwarzenegger and his buddies, and they are training very intently. They're very serious. We're talking about like heavy weights here. And they had a good time. What did you not see them doing? Well, they weren't scrolling because there was no internet back then. And you may think to yourself, well, the internet, it's not a bad thing. It helps us a lot. Yes, but if you're in the gym and you're trying to push it, I don't think it's natural, or it's not natural for us to kind of shift our attention away from something repeatedly in a situation where you're supposed to be focusing, right? It only makes sense. Especially if you're any sort of person that's trying to compete, like power lifter, Olympic lifter, bodybuilding. You have certain things you need to do by a certain time. That means your 1 to 2 hours needs to be focused. But if you are scattering that focus mid-set, that is wrong. Okay. So, in my experience, what happened to me is I follow Original Strength. The author, Tim Anderson, came out with a book called Becoming Bulletproof, the Becoming Bulletproof Challenge. And it has a bunch of miserable stuff in there. Crawling is one. And I've said it before, baby crawl is one level where you're on your hands and knees. That's tough. If you want to take it up a level, you do it for 10 minutes. I don't know many people that can do that 10 minutes straight without a break. And that's one of the challenges in the book. And he says, well, you do that and other challenges, do not listen to any audio. It's like, why? He understands that it's challenging. The exercises are challenging. And he's like, why not take it up a level and try not to distract yourself so you can really focus? So I read that. I'm like, okay, I'm a huge metal fan, or I would listen to, educational YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever, right? So when I started doing that, it's like time. When you say 10-minute, like a 10-minute timeout, time really slows down, and it was miserable. But I felt good in my workouts I felt good the rest of the day once I got done, because it's kind of like I accomplished something, and the rest of the day is not as miserable as what I just did. So I also started to apply that in the rest of my lifting. And I'm not gonna lie, it was tough at first. And for the same thing, I would get done and I would feel mentally peaceful afterwards. You just got done with something very difficult. And now the rest of like I train in the morning, and then the rest of the day just didn't get to me as much. And as a side note, Tim Anderson, there's a video of him crawling a mile, which takes him 40 plus minutes. He had headphones in, but when he went to turn his podcast on, it didn't come on. So he did 40 minutes straight of silence. So if you can do 40 minutes, I don't think 10 is that bad. And I don't think a workout is that bad. So this kind of, you can think of it as a Venn diagram, where it kind of merges with what is all the rage now, which is meditation. And why do people meditate in the first place? They want to calm their mind. What is meditation? What do you do when you meditate? I think it's two things. One, you try to let your thoughts go, okay? Not completely cancel them, because that's impossible. So let the thoughts go. And the other thing to try is be mindful of your surroundings, like actually listen to nature, feel your body, feel your fingers, whatever. There's nothing more, like the easy way to do that is lifting heavy without audio. Because when you are under a heavy squat and you don't have anything to listen to, you have no choice but to not think about anything else and focus on what you're doing physically, okay? It's like short bursts of meditation. And then the other thing is just like stop scrolling your phone, right? And on that phone scrolling note, as far as focus is concerned, I think a lot of people have a problem with focus on a macro and a micro level. Micro level, like in the gym, but macro level is like, you know, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was coming up, he didn't have the internet. It was just like him, and he's probably training by himself a lot of times. So you have to understand that he was probably bored a lot, and he just had to sit around and think about like the next training session. Like, what do you do when you're bored? Right? You probably scroll your phone, but when he was bored, he's probably like, well, let me do another workout. Let me stretch or talk to my workout friends, whatever. So, how do we do this? I came up with the Gym Flow Multiplier. Yes, I named it. Anyways, I'm going to tackle your phone, and then that's really it. The phone is the biggest part. And I'm going to come after Instagram and probably Facebook, but Instagram is kind of like heavily fitness based, or there's a lot of fitness people on there. First step is to just follow fewer people. I was following like Matt Frazier and The Rock for a little bit. And when you go on your phone, and especially Instagram, and you have the story, you feel like you need to keep up with everybody that you have there. Like my workout is not determined by who I follow on Instagram. Like The Rock, I'd wake up, The Rock's already done, and it's like he started at 4 a.m. I'm just like, okay, well that's not me. So I really think it just gets in people's heads. So yeah, follow fewer people, unless they're your actual friends. And then another thing, for as many apps as you can, just turn the notifications off, right? Like life or death apps are like your phone calls and your texts. You don't need like Discord. You don't need Instagram. You don't need Facebook unless it's work related. And I mean, what? You're not using Facebook or Instagram for work, right? So just turn those off. So that way, when you determine when you use the app, right? The app doesn't interrupt you all day. I don't know, like seriously, for most people, that's a huge step for the rest of your life. And that's two things to set up outside of like before you go in the gym. And I think those help a lot because what I said with the focus thing, I think more people need more time being bored because when you are bored, you will have more time to put into the things that you really want to do. Okay. Like, you don't have to do 2 workouts a day, but you could stretch at night when you're bored or something like that instead of scrolling for 2 hours straight before bedtime. So that's outside the gym. If you're in the gym, and especially if you're, single person, again, if nobody's relying on you, just leave your phone away from you in the gym bag. If you have to record yourself, go for it. I guess if you have an app that you need to use during training, right, that tracks your workouts out of it, go ahead and use that, but don't be scrolling. And I don't know if I said this already, but if you need to record yourself in a video, that's fine. But that's really it. It's like, why do this? I'm talking about focus in the gym. There are moments, especially like I strength train, there's a lot of sitting involved. You have a lot of time to just sit, okay? I don't think people in general are comfortable enough with just sitting with their thoughts. But I think in the days of old, lifters would sit. You'd either like talk with your buddies or you just had this free time to think about what you just did. Think about what you just did. Think about what you just did and mentally prepare for the next one, right? If your training is hard, your rest times, what is it, like 5 minutes at the longest? Why would you sit and scroll through Instagram? Like, do you know how much content you can see in 5 minutes on Instagram? It's too much. And then you're like, oh, I need to hit 80-90% on this lift, but I'm going to look at something else for a little bit. And then I'm going to, I need to refocus. Like, that is not natural for human beings, and it's not good for you. Okay. So I'm very dogmatic about it. I'm not too strict with myself. I actually will, I might read about my training or whatever. But seriously, with the social media thing, that's the biggest culprit. I think it takes people away in the session, and then the people that, this is a tangent, but people that, if you think you're going to work out later in the day, but then you end up on the couch, what do? And then you go on your phone. or TV. If you didn't have those things, you'd probably get so bored you'd want to go back. You'd want to get out there and do it. Morning is good because you get out there and you get it done. But man, a lot of people just zap their motivation with their phone in and outside the gym. So that's it, y'all. Thanks for watching again. Different daytime or different lighting because it's middle of the day. But if you have any questions, let me know. Check out the newsletter version of this in the description. Subscribe to that, subscribe to the channel, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for watching.